Hi, my name's Kat Tedder, and I'm the program specialist in North Platte, Nebraska. Today we're here with Jolene Wirt to talk about her small business. Everything that you will hear today will help you earn the Junior Business Owner Badge and the Cadet Entrepreneur Badge. So without further ado, let's meet Jolene. Hi, Jolene. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your business?
Hello, Dawn. Thank you so much for having me today. My
I'm Kat.
business is advertising. I'm sorry. We'll start over.
Okay.
Oh, and there I went unstable again. Should I just start
It's
from
okay.
my
We're
part?
still recording. We can cut it up. So just go ahead and restart.
Yeah. Okay, you'll edit. Hi, Kat. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm so excited to talk to the Girl Scouts today. I was a Girl Scout as a child, so I can understand and I know how important Girl Scouting is. I come from a very small town in Pennsylvania. I can go right into my business part. Is that what you want me to do?
Yeah.
Okay. I come from a very small town in Pennsylvania. And while there, as growing up in school, I wanted to be an accountant. Accounting was my passion, doing anything with numbers. And my first job was as a bookkeeper. Well, of course, times got tough and I got laid off at my job and I couldn't find another job as a bookkeeper. It was very, very difficult. So I had to branch out. And the only thing that I knew that I could do and I could do well was type, because I could type a whole lot of words a minute. I was a very, very fast, very accurate typist. So I applied for a job at a type house. Had no clue what a type house was, didn't have any idea what they did, but they needed somebody that could type. So I went in, I did my interview, I was hired. Within 6 months, I learned what a type house was and learned every job in the place. What we did there was everything up to, but not including the actual print of a book, of a manuscript, of magazines, pretty much anything that you would need in print. Now, of course, this was back in the late 70s, 1970s. So, print was the major form of communication back then. So I did a lot of that, and I ended up with customers. I ended up with accounts that I handled exclusively. And I found that my passion was not numbers, but people. And giving, customer service, helping those people achieve what they needed. So when we moved to a different area that was a lot farther from my job, I went looking for another job and I got hired by a newspaper as an advertising representative. That was back in 1984. And I worked there for 31 and a half years. I loved connecting with my customers, making their business and their business succeed my goals every single day. And I became very, very successful selling to my customers. And that's what brought me to where I am today.
Awesome. So why did you decide to start your own business?
Well, that kind of happened sort of accidentally. My husband and I are avid water skiers, and living in Pennsylvania, there's really no place, to do it anymore. So we searched and searched and searched, and we found a state that had a lot of water, which was Tennessee. We found an area of it that we really loved. And I assumed that when we moved here, I would have to get a job, because I was not old enough to retire yet, getting close, but not quite. And I thought, well, with my track record, I really wouldn't have a hard time finding a job in another state. That was our plan. My husband has his own business, has had his own construction business since 1985. So, we figured he would continue his business down here and I would go get a job. Well, my last day at the Reading Eagle, when I was taking my replacement around to tell him, show him who my customers were and introduce them to him, my first customer at the newspaper from 1984 looked at me and said, but you still have to work for us. Knew that I could start my own business and that I would succeed. And now I have that car dealer is still my customer. I have gotten other customers as well. I've driven, when I take my car in for service, doesn't hurt to talk to people. So I just, is the manager in? And I start talking to him about what I can do, how I can help him sell more cars for his business. It's gotten me more customers.
That's awesome. Can you explain a little bit of what it is you actually do?
My main function is proofreading. I have a major problem with typos. And I think it makes a business look very bad when they put something out there that has misspelled words in it. Working for a newspaper, when I would open up the newspaper and there was a typographical error in the headline of an article, my skin would cringe because I really felt that it made the newspaper look like they didn't care. Do you feel that way, or is that just?
No, I agree with you. It drives me bonkers when I see typos in flyers or any kind of print material or online where, there's spell check. Those things make me crazy. So I can understand.
How about when you're watching TV and then something scrolls across the bottom and there's a typo in it?
Yeah.
I just think that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
what are some?
That's
Go ahead,
one
sorry.
of the things that I. The other things that I do, I do email blasts. I have taught myself how to use InDesign and Photoshop on my computer. So I now design layouts and ads and banner ads for my dealer in Kentucky. I do all his web banners. Anything that he needs created, I will create everything. I also send everything into the manufacturers for approval because everything must be pre-approved. The manufacturers have very strict guidelines on how they want their products advertised. Nissan is different than Honda. That's different than Chrysler. That's different than Ford. They all have their own rules and regulations. Some of them make you a little crazy. Like the word Honda can never be in all caps.
Huh. That's interesting.
Weird rule.
Do you think that's a cultural thing?
No.
Oh.
Because Nissan is similar culture. Those buyers come from the same demographics, and Nissan doesn't have that rule. It's just it's just one of the weird rules that the manufacturers put in.
So it's a
some
branding
of the manufacturers, correct. Some of the manufacturers only use certain typefaces. You're only allowed to use artwork off their site. I have artwork sites for all the manufacturers. I do service coupons. So every month at the end of the month, I check with the service manager for what he wants to do for the next month. And then
Right.
I do that. I create those and put those up on the website for them. Sometimes it's 11:30 at night that I come down, and because they have to be up after midnight, but before they open the next day. Um, so it time is of the essence for some things.
Okay. So are there any other, I know when you worked for the newspaper, there were certain guidelines. Was it the Attorney General that had guidelines for what could be in ads or what? So does that still apply with what you're doing today?
Oh, yes. The Attorney General rules are different for each state. So that's just something else that I have to know. I have to know what the Truth in Lending is, the act that you need to know for every state that you advertise in. The state of Pennsylvania has a lot stricter rules than the state of Kentucky does. And those are the two states right now that I have dealers in. I also will not work for a competitor. So if I was doing a Nissan dealer in Pennsylvania, when the Nissan dealer in Kentucky asked me to do his stuff, I checked with my guy in Pennsylvania first, just to make sure that there was no conflict of interest. I really honestly feel that the reason why my business is so successful is my attention to detail. I let nothing slide. I will proofread things 4 or 5 times just to make sure. Because that is my husband's business in construction as well. It's the attention to detail that is so important. I mean, that is the main thing that I've learned with having my own business for all these 5 years, is that you have to pay attention to that detail.
Cool. So, do you yourself advertise?
No, I do not. Only because when I worked at the newspaper, I worked 70 hours a week, 7 days a week. It was a nonstop, because my customers, when I was at work, they were at work. And them being at work was trying to make money running their businesses. So
Right.
they didn't have time to talk to me. They had customers. So call me at 8 o'clock tonight. Call me after you close when you have time, and we'll work on the next promotion. But that is another reason why I was so successful with the newspaper. You have to let the customer know when you're in my field. My customers always felt that their business was as important to me as it was to them. And my philosophy was always, if their business failed, then I didn't do my job. That came across so strongly that you won't find a person who I dealt with that would ever say I didn't care about their business. That's how strongly I felt about it, and how strongly it came across to everyone. And that helped make me very successful. If my customers didn't trust me, I wouldn't be working for them 900 miles away. We have a conference call every week. They send me emails. We do everything by email and phone. I have not been back in Pennsylvania since I left. And we have a very, very strong relationship.
That's good. It seems like communication and strong business ethics are a top priority in your business.
Definitely. You have to have a very high moral character. The hardest part about having your own business is your own discipline. And I discovered from my husband. You know, getting up and going to work every day when you don't have to takes a lot of self-discipline, self-control. It's real easy to go, oh no, that feels really good, and just roll over.
Right. So, what advice would you give Girl Scouts that are looking to start their own business?
You have to work hard. Nobody, and if you are given anything, it's not really worth anything at the end. You're given opportunities, and what you do with those opportunities shape your life, I believe. I believe that if you work hard and you're honest and a good person, you know, you try to be as good as you can, you will succeed. You're gonna have speed bumps, you're gonna have monkey wrenches, you know, whatever you want to call them, thrown in, because life isn't perfect. Yeah, but you just got to keep going. You got to keep trying. You got to do the best job you can, and be true. Be true to yourself.
Well, thank you so much, Jolene. I really appreciate talking with you today. And thank you
Well,
for tuning in today to our, oh, I'm sorry.
I want to thank you for having me. Hopefully I've motivated some of your girls to really buckle down and make something.
Thank you. So tune in later today at 2 p.m. Central Time to learn about, or I'm sorry, tune in tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. to listen about personal stories of the Girl Scout World Centers. Tomorrow afternoon, Nebraska goes to the United Nations. So you'll learn all about the Center for the Commission on the Status of Women. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment in the comment section, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye.